Drama before the start of round 10 of the AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship, with Grant McCleary still in the pits as the race gets underway, with Sean van der Linde taking to the grass, and it's like Elof Street in rush hour. Race cam action from Dion Joubert's BMW Enviro car, and he has Sarel van der Merwe ahead of him, and there could have been a little contact between the two cars there. There's a lot of bumping and boring going on as the drivers pick their way through Continental, and the race order is Briggs, White and Wyndham in the Sassel Ford Mondeo, who is up into third place, with Anthony Taylor fourth and being challenged by Sarel van der Merwe. Briggs leads the charge into Citizen Sweep, followed by White and Wyndham, with Sarel van der Merwe and Anthony Taylor side by side. Then come Dion Joubert, the two Rothmans Audis, De Waal and van der Linde. Race cam action from the De Villiers Nissan. Ahead of him, here's Sean van der Linde and teammate Nick De Waal as they head for Bozel Corner. Van der Linde is moving up on the inside of De Waal. Oh, van der Linde hit the bank, and that has launched the BMW Enviro car off the circuit. That is a huge accident. The BMW went cartwheeling off the circuit, and this race might be stopped. More drama. That is Mike White who's gone off at Continental in the Minolta Camry, and the race has been stopped on lap 2. Clerk of the course, Glenn Rowden, has brought out the red flag as we take another look at Sean van der Linde cartwheeling off the circuit in the BMW Enviro car. Goodness me, this is a terrible sight. This is a side of motor racing no one likes to see, and Sean van der Linde is still trapped inside the car. What a relief. Sean van der Linde looks to be all right. He's climbing out of the wrecked BMW. Those were horrific moments as the BMW cartwheeled through the air, and you fear for the worst. The marshals are dousing the car with foam, and full marks to them for prompt action, and miraculously Sean van der Linde looks to be unhurt as he climbs into the doctor's car. Good news from the medical centre is that Sean van der Linde is unhurt as the race is restarted, with Mike White and Grant McCleary back on the grid. One of the Sassel Fords has stopped on the line. That's Steve Wyndham has been left behind on the line as White and Briggs go into Continental side by side. There's a little more bumping and boring at the back of the field, with Hilton Cowie and the Domus Alfa Romeo exchanging greetings with the two BP Nissans. The race will be run over the full 25 laps, with Mike White out in front in the Minolta Toyota Camry. Round 9 winner Mike Briggs is right on his tail, with Grant McCleary and Anthony Taylor side by side as they go through the Citizen Sweep. And you have to be young and brave and have an awful lot of faith in the driver alongside you to do that. This is Bozel Corner, where Sean van der Linde had his huge accident, and the race order is White, Briggs, Taylor has forced his way past McCleary, who is followed by the two Audis, Dion Joubert in the remaining BMW Enviro car, and Sarel van der Merwe in the Sassel Ford Mondeo. A puff of smoke from the Minolta Camry as White locked up a wheel going into Continental. McCleary is back in front of Taylor, who is under attack from Aberdeen, who is trying to force his way through on the inside of the Castrol Toyota. A race cam close-up of Mike Briggs, who looks as though he's taking a gentle drive through the park. The AA Fleetcare Super Touring train is at full speed, with Mike White still holding off championship leader Mike Briggs in the Opel Vectra. This is a repeat of the early stages of round 9, and Briggs will be scheming a way of getting past White. McCleary is still third, with Anthony Taylor right on his tail, with Chris Aberdeen and Terry Moss in the Rothmans Audis in the points at this stage. The Audis are followed by Dion Joubert and Sarel van der Merwe in the Sassel Ford Mondeo, with Steve Wyndham out of the race in the second Sassel Ford with an electrical problem which saw him left behind at the start. Everyone expected a strong showing from the two Opel Vectras, but this is the best from the two Toyota Camrys have shown throughout the season, although White and McCleary are still lucky to be out there. And into the pits comes Sabine Wreck in the Motorplan BMW, and it isn't turning into a good day for the German girl. Mike White still leads Briggs and McCleary, but Anthony Taylor is challenging for third place up the hill towards Bozel Corner. Taylor sneaked up on the inside of McCleary, and that is as clean a passing manoeuvre as you are likely to see all day. Taylor is up into third, but there's little doubt that McCleary will be fighting back, with the duel between two of the young lions of South African motor racing a feature of the meeting. There is also some hectic racing further down the field, and Sarel van der Merwe is under attack from another young lion. Chanel de Villiers won't think twice about giving one of the elder statesmen of South African racing a nudge or two, and is leading all over van der Merwe. Both Nissans are back in the running after hasty repairs between races, and de Villiers looks a picture of concentration. A change in the race order, and Mike Briggs has gone to the front in the Opel Vectra. Mike White is back to second in the Minolta Toyota Camry and is going to lose another place as Anthony Taylor in the Castrol Camry slipped past his teammate. White might have picked up a mechanical problem that is slowing him down, and he now has McCleary right on his heels in the second Opel Vectra. The two Rothmans Audis are still 5th and 6th, with Dion Joubert 7th in the BMW Enviro car, with Van der Merwe still ahead of the two Nissans. Mike Briggs is back where he spent most of the season, out in front of the AA Fleetcare Super Touring field. It's starting to look as though Zwartkops will again be kind to the Opel team, but Anthony Taylor is going like a train and isn't letting Briggs get away from him. Zwartkops has also spent most of the season at the head of Class B, and after his round 9 crash is back in the Class B brigade and his slightly battle-scarred BMW chasing Duncan Foss. Another car into the pits, and from the look of the smoke pouring out of the Don Brains Opel Astra, that is terminal engine failure. The halfway mark, and Mike White definitely has a problem. His slip back to 5th behind race leader Mike Briggs, Anthony Taylor, Grant McCleary and Terry Moss in the Rothmans Audi. White is now coming under attack from Chris Aberdeen in the second Audi and Dion Joubert in the BMW Enviro car. Cyril van der Merwe is not far behind Joubert and is still holding off Janil de Villiers in the BP Nissan Sentra. It doesn't look as though White will be able to hold off Aberdeen for much longer. Tyre wear will be a worry for all the drivers at this stage of the race, but White's problems look to be a little more serious than simply tyre wear. Out in front, Mike Briggs is still being shadowed by Anthony Taylor, but the Castrol Camry doesn't look as though it's making much impression on the Opel. Briggs is being allowed to dictate the pace, and so far hasn't put a wheel wrong in another impressive display from driver and car. Mike White is still in front of Chris Aberdeen and Dion Joubert and looks to be holding up the pair. Cyril van der Merwe in the Sassels Ford Mondeo has closed in on the BMW Enviro car and has managed to put some breathing space between himself and Janil de Villiers in the BP Nissan Sentra. McCleary in 3rd place in the second Opel Vectra has lost ground to Briggs and Taylor, with the race settling into a pattern over the final laps. Sean van der Linde and younger brother Etienne look a little pensive watching from the pit wall, and Sabine Reck looks distinctly unhappy.
Well, I didn't have a very good start to start off with, and because Taylor, I don't know if he half stalled in front of me, and I had to go on the grass to avoid him, and so I lost a couple of places on the start, and then I ended up with Nick and Janil, and I was behind Nick going into Bozel, and he had a very bad exit coming out of the corner, and I actually went on around the outside of him. And by the time we got down to this bank corner, leading to the pit straight, I was like 90% next to him on his inside. And as we got into the braking area, he just turned in and he pushed me right up against the embankment and just got hold. It was a big one, really a big one.
Another casualty, that's Duncan Foss, who has parked the Accord Nissan Sentra. That leaves Zwartkops way out in front in Class B, with Leon Marie struggling along in the Bankfin Toyota Sprinter after damaging 2 vertebrae in his back in his earlier accident. 2 laps to go, with Mike Briggs out in front from Anthony Taylor, Grant McCleary and Terry Moss and Chris Aberdeen in the Rothmans Audi Quattros. Mike White is parked in the gravel in Continental Corner in the same place where he went off before the race was stopped when Van der Linde crashed. And Dion Joubert has moved into 6th place ahead of Cyril van der Merwe. Opel Racing have never been beaten in a super touring race at Zwartkops, and as the cars move on to their last lap, Briggs will have to do something extremely silly to see that record disappear. The 1993 super touring champion is headed for his 7th win in 9 starts this season, and that is going to increase his already vice-like grip on the championship, and it still looks like a Sunday stroll. Briggs is into the driving complex for the last time with 2 corners to go to the checkered flag. Anthony Taylor has done a fine job for Toyota and is in 2nd in the Castrol Camry, having given himself breathing space from Grant McCleary in the second Opel Vectra, who will pick up his 3rd place of the day. After a weekend that produced some dreadful weather, the sun is finally shining, with Mike Briggs strolling to another thoroughly convincing victory in the AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship. Toyota pick up another second place through Anthony Taylor, with Terry Moss and Chris Aberdeen 4th and 5th in the Rothmans Audis. The final point goes to Dion Joubert in the BMW Enviro car. Cozy Zwartkops takes another Class B win and is 10th overall. Once again, the traditional bubbly, with Briggs something of an expert in this department these days.
Well, this morning I wouldn't have given myself too many odds on taking a double win, but certainly for me the championship is now really looking good, because all my threats in the championship didn't really score well today. But it was really, really tough racing. I must say, I'm not as young as I used to be, and youngsters like this Taylor make life very difficult for me.
Don't miss rounds 11 and 12 of the action-packed AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship at Killarney on Saturday the 20th of May. Be there or see highlights in the AA Racing Report, exclusively on NNTV Sport on Saturday the 27th of May. The AA Fleetcare Super Touring Championship, Africa's most exciting racing formula.